Yeah, I got it. All right. I wonder where Tom is. You see Tom anywhere, Chris Martin? Do you see him anywhere?
No,
I don't see him.
Oh,
there you are.
Hi, John.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Glad to see you at work today.
Why wouldn't I be here, Tom? I have been coughing into my elbow.
Good.
I actually went to high-five somebody. We missed and hit each other's, inside elbow.
Elbows.
Oh.
The dirtiest
Right,
part
no,
of your body.
absolutely. Diving into the sterile waters here at KIRO.
Oh, they're
Yeah, they
sterile.
sterilized them. Yeah.
Wow.
What are you doing, Chris Martin? You make me nervous. What are you doing? You moving around? Get back over in your little area there.
Chris Martin, our film and producer today.
That's right.
Did a great job yesterday.
Jacob's doing fair job. Jacob is doing more sort of goodwill stuff. Mad
Yes.
hours. Okay. All right. Good. Well, the music ends abruptly and feels like, oh, hi Tracy Taylor. What's wrong? Oh, hey to you too. Oh, hey. Where's Heather? I want to say hi to her. Okay, the feds investigate the Kirkland nursing home facility. This is the coronavirus outbreak. They say it started there, and now people went in there and say, hey, look at this. This place got fined, a couple of months ago or something, that they went in there and checked out, but they fined them for $65,000 or something like that.
Last April, yeah, $67,000. And you can imagine that they are going to be the subject of intense investigation, because right now they are the epicenter, unfortunately for them. So now everything that might be, sort of their dirty laundry is coming out. It's hard to say. This happened last April, about 2 flu outbreaks. That
I got Gary Horker from KIRO 7 doing some of the heavy lifting and getting on camera.
Then
ready?
I'll shut up.
Here we go. Not shut up, Tom. You don't need to shut up. That's not
Okay.
No. It's going to yield to Gary.
Oh, I yield the floor to the great senator from KIRO 7.
Okay. So a month ago, people were demonstrating coughing, and there was watery eyes and runny noses and stuff.
I'm trying to think. A month ago, though, was this before or after the first case? Because up until then, we were covering it, but it was like an international story. It was mostly in China.
It was in China. People talked about it on board a cruise ship and stuff like that. Right. Okay.
I can't remember now if we were on high alert a month ago or not. Otherwise, they probably might have just treated it like the flu.
Right.
The question then goes back. So, do they have a bad history or not? In April, they were fined. I can't tell. $67,000 over infection control deficiencies. If that's pretty common for these kinds of nursing homes. Is that a huge amount? Is that unusual, or is that pretty standard? It affected 17 patients and staff.
Okay, here's what happened. The Trump administration reduced the fines that they can.
Why?
Because they thought they were too onerous. They were too big.
Oh, I see. Okay. You mean not in relation to this?
So no,
in
but
general,
if you get,
when they first came in, it
right.
was the anti-regulation approach.
Right.
Okay.
And there were no restrictions. So you're going to cut down on stuff. They've increased the number of inspections, but the price that you pay has reduced. Okay. If you get hit with a big one like that, it is most likely because they came and got you, and you did not fix the problem. So they said to you this is normally when it's $68,000 plus more is what it is they came and they saw you 3 months ago or a year ago or 6 months ago and said, fix that. Okay. And then they come back and they find out you didn't fix it. Then they whack you the big one for $68,000. If you do not contest it, they knock 35% off it.
Okay. Now, interestingly enough, on a positive light, in June, so this was in April, they were docked. In June, they had another inspection, and they declared that they had corrected the problems.
Okay.
So everything was on the up and up as of last June. Now we're, 9 months later?
Well, the way it used to be during the Obama administration was it was retroactive. So they'd come in and they'd check you out in February, right? They'd see a violation in February. Then they'd come back in again, and then they would say, okay, we're going to fine you for every day since February. So they come in April.
Not fixed.
They go back. Then they say, well, that's not fair, because what if the person had come in March and done it? They did an inspection in February, came in and did one in March, the fine would be a lot less. So they've just basically said, we'll come in and knock you down for about $68,000. will knock a bunch of money off if you don't contest it. So this is not that unusual to get these fines. This is pretty big, but we don't know anything more than that they had some problems with infection, right?
What we do know is that the Trump administration made a mistake by making the regulations more lax.
They're inspecting more. No, just letting you know the number of inspections has increased. The fine costs have gone down a little bit, but more inspections from 3.5 to 4.7. I tell them I'm just a reporter. That's all. I'm just calling them balls and strikes.
Somehow I doubt that.
Balls and strikes. Still. Just balls and strikes. All right. But for the guy to say that my mother or somebody they didn't know about this a month ago. What are you saying? There's intentional neglect there from the Kirkland Life
That's the suggestion. That's what Gary Horker was trying to. Are you saying that they purposely, did not respond properly, and the guys seemed, suspicious of the place? Now you can imagine if you had your mother and father there, and people were dying, practically right and left. All the people in those rooms are now being checked out and hospitalized. I can see there being some concern, and he might have legitimate concern. At this point, we don't have enough information to be able to pass judgments.
Is the cause of death the virus? Or is the cause of death pneumonia? So the person is compromised to begin with. We don't know. Yesterday, the lady was 90 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. 90 years old. She probably got a whole bunch of things going on. So then you say, okay, she has conditions, and then she gets the virus, which then leads to inflammation, which leads to fluid in the lungs, which then ends up being pneumonia, which then causes renal failure, and then she passes away.
But I think that you can legitimately say if she didn't catch, or he didn't catch the coronavirus, that person might still be alive.
Okay.
I mean, but it is true. When you're that old, or the elderly really are susceptible to all sorts of things. It can kill you, but it wouldn't kill, say, 80% of the population.
Here's a question for you, Tom. Since your mom is 80.
She's 89.
89. You are in your 60s.
Yes.
Let's say you start to get a bit of a cold, okay?
Yeah.
You don't get tested. You got a bit of a cold. Mm-hmm. Would you not go see your mom?
So my brothers and I have, visit her on a daily basis, just caregivers and the like. And we've often talked about that, okay, I've got a brother who's coming up now. He has kind of a bad cold. We figure, you know what, Steve, we'll cover for you, this Sunday when you're going to be up there, because that might not be worth it. So it's definitely something that we keep track of among the four of us that are up here that visit her all the time.
Well, you could go and just not cough on her, go and just not hug her, go and just sort of keep it distance.
And not touch any of the doorknobs and not touch it. I mean, if it can persist, now we can wash our hands every 15 minutes. So, but yeah, that is a balance that we're all trying to make. And so far, she's as healthy gets.
This condition of what's happening where the economy is kind of grinding to a halt reminds me of something that my friend from Wells Fargo said during 2000, 2008, 2009, and 10. He said 10% of the people are out of work, but 90% are acting like they are. So all of a sudden, everything just freezes. The fear of the unknown freezing. So then we here at KIRO, we've got people that are fixing roofs and selling cars. We've got this and this and this. So people are stopping stuff, right, for fear of whatever. So things are slowing down. You didn't drive in today. I drove in, and it was lickety-split. Right? Am I right?
Pretty easy drive today.
Easy drive.
Yeah.
And Chris Sullivan's talking about it. He had nothing else to talk about. He's bringing up his kids' long snapping.
I heard Chris talking this morning, though, and if it's
he's a hell of a long snapper. Is that what he's talking about?
Just like his dad's a long talker.
Yeah.
But the thing about the great ease on the roads is if people can work remotely, why not?
Can I jump in here on this one?
Tracy Taylor, ladies and gentlemen, from the other room. Go
Back
ahead.
from 2 days away.
Yes. Now I have a voice, so I can actually use it. So Microsoft is encouraging their employees to work remotely. Amazon, Facebook, now Starbucks.
The tech industry,
and Nordstrom also. Starbucks just announced today that they wanted their Sodo people to start working remotely till the end of the month. So we're going to see easier drives. And then you have to take into effect that, several of the school districts are out, like Monroe and all of North Shore, so it's kind of that domino ripple effect that we're seeing right now.
Wouldn't it be fascinating, just, 30 years down the road, saying, well, what was the impetus that caused people to really begin to telecommute?
Right.
Oh, it was this virus that we all overreacted to, and then people started telecommuting, then they realized that they could telecommute, and then people stopped going on the roads. And then the $72 billion that we had spent on the light rail seemed even more ridiculous. The idea that all of a sudden something happened because there's cultural changes
all the money
that
we
occur.
spent on the roads.
Well, we've already spent the money on the roads, right? We already have that. But we'd have less people on the roads.
Yeah. And Whether that'll actually change things, I don't know. If people can work remotely forever, would they do it? Believe me, when I was doing this show remotely from my couch, I got to tell you, it was pretty convenient.
Oh, I know. There was nothing wrong with it.
I think Dory Monson's never coming in again.
He sounds fine. It's a little thing you don't get a chance to see and laugh at one another.
Yeah.
Because the cameras are here, and I like to come over and do this at Tom.
Let's play the game.
But generally, get out of here. Remember the other day? You went to punch me, the stage punch. You didn't do it right and almost hit me. Was that intentional? Tell me right now.
Of course not.
Because I know there's some people here who want to punch you right now.
Want to punch me?
No, not me.
I don't punch
you.
me.
Punch me.
But you, yeah.
Moving on. $100
The
billion.
lineup's too long.
$100 billion. The airlines could lose $100 billion, by the way, if you want to fly to Hawaii. I think Alaska Airlines got it for like $32 or something. Don't quote me on that one. But they have found that people have just stopped traveling for fear of going somewhere. New York now has, how many people have died in New York? 8, 9, something like that?
Oh, I don't think it's that high. In this state?
No,
this state
New York. No, New York.
I think it only had one, maybe
Chris,
2.
look that one up. I think it's, is it up to, it's up to 2 now.
I mean, I thought they had just announced the very first one. We're still, lapping everybody, unfortunately, on the coverage. Yeah, so do you want to talk? So, yeah, the airlines could lose as much as $113 billion. That's if the spread continues globally. They say it could be more like $63 billion if it stays just on the infected countries or affected countries right now.
Yeah.
So the airlines are, facing all sorts of complications. Yesterday we did a story about how a lot of the airlines are allowing you to cancel or change your flights without penalty like you used to. So I think it's the Seattle Times that put together an interesting article about, okay, if you're considering a trip, like I'm considering going to France in April, at what point should you change plans? At what point should you cancel? And what are the grounds for it? And they say, first off, you should get your facts. Make sure that you know what's going on in the country that you're going to. And keep in mind, they say, it might not be a problem in the country that you're going to, but it might be a problem getting back here to your own country or the company. So they say, so you have to determine what a number of people, they said they had plans to go to Italy. Italy is one of those danger zones if you're in the wrong part of Italy, in the Lombardy region. But they say, what would happen if all of a sudden your company said, we don't want to bring you back? Or the country, which is less likely, the country saying, oh, we're not going to let anybody in from Italy if you've been in Italy, you can't come back in. How would that impact, your own work and your workplace? Those kinds of things. But they say that you shouldn't do it out of fear. You shouldn't do it out of, well, I'm going to lose some money, because you usually get at least 75% back on your plans if you have this coronavirus as an excuse. That you should just make this you should think with your head, not your heart.
Major airlines have begun screening passengers before getting on the plane or getting off the plane.
Yeah.
For fevers and things like
that.
For
wherever they're going? Like if you fly to L.A., are they going to check you to fly to L.A.?
For LA,
okay,
but
you mean international.
And they also say, if you don't wear a mask if you're not sick.
Yeah. Okay.
How comfortable would you be sitting next to somebody with a mask on?
I'd be more comfortable because I figured they're protecting me from them. That's how I see it. I don't see it as an insult. Oh, they might be sitting next to somebody with it. So I'm happy. Whenever I see a mask, I feel reassured.
See, I always could take it personally.
That they're trying to ward things from you.
Yeah, like what? Oh, really? Yeah, my germs? No. You know what? My germs are too good for you. That's the way I look at it. I'm gonna pull your mask off and cough inside of it.
Also, it says if you're considering traveling, if you're kind of a nervous Nelly type and the entire time you're traveling, I can't go there, then don't go.
Right.
I'm not going to have a problem.
If you do find yourself stressed out and cortisol is increased in your bloodstream, the stress and the cortisol combined actually reduces your immune system, and you're more likely to get sick.
Perfect. Yeah.
So they took 100 people, and they shot the cold virus up into their nose. 50% of the people got the cold and 50% didn't. And the difference was this. They said to one half, get 2 hours less sleep a night, and also watch and see things that are stressful for you. They had them, watch different things that cause more stress.
I'd rather be in the control group for that experiment.
What, having nothing shot up your nose?
Well, no, I mean, the idea of, so run yourself ragged and see a lot of things that raise. No, I guess you're probably going to be more likely to come down with something.
No, they said if you get if you miss an hour to an hour and a half of sleep, you are more likely to get a cold. You can actually get the virus shot right into your nose, but if you continue to eat right and get sleep and you're not stressed out, your body can fight that off.
This time situation for us, John. We'll never get sick again.
So much better for you because you do get more sleep. So overall, just generally, your body can fight against these diseases if it gets the proper amount of sleep.
That's right.
Exercise and eats right as well.
And you're not elderly.
And you're not elderly. That's right. Trump spoke with Sean Hannity last night. His take on the virus, he says...
Well, I think the 3.4% is really a false number. Now, this is just my hunch, but based on a lot of conversations with a lot of people that do this, because a lot of people will have this, and it's very mild. They'll get better very rapidly. They don't even see a doctor. They don't even call a doctor. You never hear about those people, so you can't put them down in the category of the overall population in terms of this corona flu and or virus. So you just can't do that. So if we have thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that get better just by sitting around and even going to work. Some of them go to work, but they get better. And then when you do have a death, like you've had in the state of Washington, like you had one in California, I believe you had one in New York, all of a sudden it seems like 3 or 4%, which is a very high number, as opposed to a fraction of 1%.
Boy, it took him a long time to see what I said the other day, that we don't know how many people have actually had the virus.
Yeah, the problem is his delivery is such a lazy, sloppy delivery that it's not reassuring to anybody because he's so
Is anybody going to President Trump for reassurance? Honestly, Tom.
Usually.
Now all of a sudden you expect reassurance from the guy you've been bashing him for almost 4 years.
Well, no, and I think we need to continue to bash him. However, it would be nice if he just stopped talking about things that actually have real-life consequences. Now, I agree. I've read enough stuff about this that I do think that number, that it is the World Health Organization. So they are an official organization. They put out what the percentage is at 3.4%. But I think that that's not a false number, but I do think there is reason to say that it could be seen as misleading because all that does is keep track of all the people that we know that have been diagnosed, tested and diagnosed, and then the number of those people that die, that is a really high percentage.
Right.
But there may be thousands, hundreds, tens of thousands of us who have had it and don't realize it and just haven't been tested. So that's it. But he is not the vessel or the vehicle for getting across that information, I think.
A couple of things we'll do. Women unpaid work, how much would it cost if you had to pay women? Is that for a year? That's a year.
It's for a year, but there are two different numbers. There's one for America alone and then one for the world alone.
Plus also a letter. Is it okay that we say where this came from, Chris?
Sure.
This is a letter from somebody that works at Amazon.
Friend of a friend who got it at Amazon.
And this is the 4-page letter that's going out to everybody that works at Amazon regarding the virus. And
makes
you glad that you don't work there. That's
no, it doesn't.
Say. Yes, it does.
I wouldn't mind
That's a good argument. Oh, yes, it does. Oh, no, it doesn't.
It sounds like last week.
Tracy Taylor, save us.
We have a crash on South 95 out near the West Seattle Bridge. It just got cleared out of the way, but a pretty good lineup as we